visits to gun ranges. And you and I talked about this a couple days ago, that it's really, really important to get the full range of opinion here. So here in gun country, where people take their gun ownership very seriously and feel very threatened when talk of gun control comes around, I decided to go out yesterday and hang out at a gun range for a little while. Here's what I heard. This is gun country. 17 miles from the Las Vegas Strip is America's largest gun range, the Clark County Shooting Complex. It's where people come to practice their aim and shoot targets for sport. Steve Carmichael is the senior manager here.
We're considered a little bit like the Old West in a lot of ways, and a lot of gun owners live in the state of Nevada. We've seen the whole gamut of shooters.
When you land in Las Vegas, you see these ads for things that look like military reenactments, machine guns, and things like that. What's that part of the culture?
Automatic weapons are allowed out here. Now, there are guidelines for them. We have a public handbook that describes that within our rules, but they're supervised by the RSO.
This range outside of Las Vegas is actually less busy than it typically would be on a day like this, because it's a little windy for shooting. But typically, after a shooting like the one we saw in Las Vegas, people come out to ranges like this because they're worried that the conversation about gun control is going to mean that they can't get their hands on things like this ARX, which, by the way, is a semi-automatic gun. It's not like a fully automatic weapon that was used in the shooting. The key word is like a fully automatic. The Las Vegas shooter used what is called a bump stock, a device which allows a rifle to fire with one trigger pull as if it were fully automatic.
It's a very tragic thing. We definitely need to have some kind of control over people buying so many weapons, but it's not going to stop something like this. But we should bear arms responsibly.
The Second Amendment exists, and there should not be any restrictions whatsoever on gun rights. There's always going to be bad people among us. There's always going to be murderers, rapists. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to abuse and hurt people.
We're not in the enforcement business. We don't ask people about their licensing. If they show up with our range with an automatic weapon and they're safe and they demonstrate proficiency with it, we don't interfere with them.
Stephanie, there are a lot of guns in this country, and most gun owners are responsible, and they pay a lot of attention, as they do at that range, to safety. But you can see the range of emotions and responses to this. Some say, hey, look, we've got to have a conversation about sensible gun control. And others say, do not touch anything to do with guns and impose any sort of gun control. So it's a tough conversation, and we're going to have to find a way to move forward with it. Steph?
Multiple senior law enforcement officials have told NBC he researched other locations in Boston and Chicago. What can you tell us?
Well, our understanding is that they have a couple of reasons for saying this. One is exploiting the electronic devices that were found in his house, his hotel room, and they're looking at basically, can they tell what sort of use of the internet he has made. And our understanding is that he, on the internet, researched outdoor concerts in both Chicago and Boston in a similar setting as in Las Vegas. Concerts that were outdoors, that had big hotels that overlooked them. And we're also told that he went so far as to actually book rooms at a high-rise hotel in Chicago at the time of an outdoor festival this summer, although he never actually showed up. As far as we know, he never went to Chicago, or if he did go to Chicago, he never went to that hotel. So this is just part of the beginning of trying to understand what other plans he may have had. We know that he had done something similar, looked at perhaps a dry run in Las Vegas the weekend before the shooting, that he had reservations in other hotels in Las Vegas the night of the shooting. So he apparently was doing a lot of alternative planning before he finally settled on the massive attack that he carried out last weekend.
Pete, I know you've got some new reporting about a possible mystery woman investigators are looking for. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I don't know how big a deal this is going to turn out to be, Stephanie, but they want to talk to anybody who was in contact with Stephen Paddock in the days before the shooting and the hours before the shooting. They know that he gambled extensively during the day. They say they don't think that he had any companion there. But in the days before the shooting, they say they've gotten reports that a woman was seen with him, and there may even have been a phone call between them. they want to try to identify her, talk to her, see what she knew. Whether they don't know whether she was involved or not, but it's just something they have to run down.
Joining us now is Washington Bureau Chief for Time Magazine, Massimo Calabresi. He's here with the newest issue, Las Vegas, America's Nightmare. We're going to get to that in just a moment. First, though, the new issue also has a feature on Puerto Rico. And some news on that. It's been just over 2 weeks since Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and this morning much of the island is, as we know, still in the dark. President Trump visited Puerto Rico Tuesday after spending the weekend attacking the mayor of San Juan on Twitter. In an interview with PBS yesterday, the mayor was critical of the president's visit.